It's the 2nd of January today, so it's really hot summer weather, which is great news for the solar. That's really running nicely. But what I want to tell you about is the new pumping situation we've got. Remember, I've told you before that we've got the rainwater tanks up at the house. You can see them up there, which is great, but there's only 2 of them up here. It's 5,000 liters each, so it gives us 10,000 liters, 10 kiloliters. But really, in the dry times, if I'm feeding the cattle or giving the cattle drinking water from there, and then when we have chickens, you can see the chicken shelters over there, it uses a lot of water. So I've had to consider pumping water out of the spring. Very good drinking water, very healthy, much healthier, I'm sure, than the municipal water that we're getting. And that's very good for the cattle, no chlorine and all that stuff, very good for the chickens. So what I've done, of course, you can see here behind the solar system, there's the battery bank arrangement there, and there's the 3 kilowatt inverter. So there's the battery bank, 8 batteries there. So I run a power cord from here, you can see there, down here to the spring where I've installed a pump. I'll show you how it works now. And that pump then pumps water out of the spring continuously. So with free electricity, I'm now pumping free water that continually rises up out of the ground here. Even in the time when it's so dry, it hasn't rained now for a good few weeks. The rainwater tanks are completely dry, but the level of the groundwater continues to rise. So my dam is in overflow continually, but I'm pumping out of this spring, which is kind of connected to the dam system. You can see here's the spring there. Now the old people that I've met in the neighborhood, they say that they've been visiting this place since the 1950s, and this water has always been here, always been standing. So I've installed this pump. So it's a small pump. Of course, the pump's got to be small enough to be able to run with our electricity available. So here's the specs of it there that you can see. It's a 230 volt pump, 2.5 amps, one phase. And what it does is it's able to pump off the power we have coming through our inverter. Now the thing with pumps is the startup. So the startup here requires about 2 kilowatt, but after that it uses very little electricity. So we pump up out of the, you can see there's the inlet pipe that goes into the spring. There, I've got it there in a bucket underneath there, you can see. And then it comes up here. The priming is a bit of a challenge. You've got to get the priming sorted out. That took me a little while to figure, but not impossible to figure. And here I run it up through a narrower diameter pipe. What the guys that sold me this, the piping and the pump, are called a half-inch. What is that in millimeters? I'm not sure, but they use half-inch as a terminology. So here it runs. You see the pipe runs up here and runs up here. And it gives me pressure all the way up there to my 2 little 1 kilowatt, 1 kiloliter tanks that I've got my tilapia in. So that then I'll use to water the gardens that are going to be down here towards where I'm going to build a house up there like that. So that allows us to use fish nutrient also in the gardens, which is very good. So here you can see, following this pipe all the way up from the spring, there we get the water coming out there. Now, the water isn't an incredibly high flow, but it is a continuous flow that will run 24/7. You can see that come through there. So we have a system. I'm sure that I'm going to be able to improve the system as I put some more time into it, but right now the system is working. So I'm able to collect groundwater for the first time in a way that I can use it reasonably easily and effectively without having to bucket it out of the dam myself. So this puts us in a whole new stage of the project here, and I'm very excited about it. Does the excitement show on my face? I'm not sure, but it really is an exciting day for us. So 2nd of January 2016, we're very excited to be here, and we're very excited to show you around. Please join us again when we post another video to show you what's happening here at Pebble Spring Farm.